My child, do not scroll past this. I know exactly how tired you are. Out of the millions of videos, endless distractions, and loud voices trying to pull your attention away right now, I made sure you found this one. I guided your heavy eyes and your weary heart to this exact moment. Please just pause for a second. You do not have to perform here. You do not have to hold it all together in this space. Just listen. I know you are exhausted from trying. I know the immense weight you have been carrying on your shoulders, pretending it is not heavy so that no one else around you has to worry. I see the invisible battles you fight every single day. You wake up already feeling behind. You give your absolute best. You try to fix everything. You try to be strong for everyone else. But at the end of the day, you feel like you are running on empty. You feel like no matter how hard you try, it is never quite enough, and the finish line keeps moving further and further away. Hear me clearly right now. I see your exhaustion. I see the silent tears you shed when the door is closed, the room is dark, and no one is watching. I know about the prayers you whisper when you do not even have the energy to form full sentences anymore. When your prayer is just a deep sigh, a breaking voice, or a simple "help me." I heard every single one of those desperate cries. Silence from heaven does not mean absence. I have been sitting right beside you in your most tiring moments. The enemy wants you to believe that your exhaustion is a sign of your failure. He whispers that you are permanently stuck, that nothing will ever change, and that all your relentless efforts are completely wasted. Do not believe those lies. Your tiredness is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you have been trying to carry a load that was never meant for your shoulders alone. I never asked you to figure it all out by yourself. You were not drawn to this message by coincidence, luck, or chance. This is not a random algorithm. This is my divine appointment for your weary soul. I called you here to give you real, lasting rest. Stay with me a little longer. Take a deep breath. Let go of the urge to control the next step. What I am about to tell you will lift the heavy burden that has been crushing your spirit. You are safe here, and you are deeply loved. My child, I know the exact moments when you felt like giving up, but forced yourself to take just one more step. You have become an expert at carrying a heavy heart while wearing a brave face. You smile when you want to break down. You tell people I am fine when your spirit is completely shattered inside. You have become so remarkably good at hiding your weariness from the world, but you must remember you can never hide it from me. I see the heavy sigh you let out when you finally sit down at the end of a long day. I see the way your mind races in the middle of the night, replaying every mistake, every anxious thought, wondering if you are actually making any progress or just walking in endless circles. You are pouring from an empty cup, my child. You are desperately trying to hydrate everyone around you, trying to fix every situation, while your own soul is completely parched. I watch you pushing yourself to the absolute limit, believing that if you just work a little harder, think a little faster, or sacrifice a little more, you will finally reach a place of peace. But true peace is not something you can earn through your own exhaustion. You have been trying to force doors open that I have intentionally closed for your protection. You have been fighting fierce battles that I never asked you to step into. The bone-deep fatigue you are experiencing right now is not a punishment, it is an invitation. It is your soul's quiet, desperate alarm bell telling you that human strength has reached its absolute end. I have allowed you to reach the end of yourself so that you could finally discover the infinite depth of my grace. You have believed the heavy lie that resting means you are failing. You have convinced yourself that if you stop pushing, if you let your guard down for even a single second, everything you have built will collapse. But listen to my voice. I am the one holding your world together, not you. You do not have to be the savior of your own life. Do not mistake your current fatigue for a permanent defeat. The enemy wants you to look at your tired hands, your delayed answers, and your unresolved problems and conclude that you have nothing left. But I look at your tired hands and say, give it all to me. I am not asking you to try harder today. I am not asking you to figure out the next 5 years or even the next 5 days. I am simply asking you to surrender the heavy yoke you have tied around your own neck. Stop fighting the current. Stop trying to outsmart your season of waiting. Just let me be God. You are so used to surviving that you have forgotten how to be held. Let me hold you now. My child, I know there have been days when you looked up at the empty sky and asked why I was silent. You have prayed desperate prayers that felt like they bounced right back off the ceiling. You have watched others receive their breakthroughs seemingly overnight, while you have been stuck in a waiting room that feels more like a prison. The deep exhaustion you feel right now is compounded by the heavy, lingering fear that perhaps I have forgotten you, or worse, that your pain is somehow a punishment. Hear my voice clearly today. My silence was never my absence. I have never turned my back on you. The delay you are experiencing is not a denial of your destiny. It is a divine preparation. You asked me for a massive blessing, for a complete turnaround, for a life-altering breakthrough. But I knew that if I handed it to you before your spirit was ready, the weight of that blessing would have crushed you. The season of waiting that has worn you out was not meant to break you. The waiting was preparation. The pain you survived was shaping you, not destroying you. It was meant to stretch your capacity, to deepen your roots, and to gently burn away the things that you were depending on instead of me. Your suffering is refinement, and my silence has been your unseen protection. I see exactly how the enemy has tried to use this waiting period to plant seeds of bitterness and doubt in your tired heart. He whispers that you are overlooked, that you are invisible, and that you will always be the one struggling while everyone else moves forward. He desperately wants you to equate your current exhaustion with permanent defeat. But I am reframing your suffering right now. Your tears were never wasted. The nights you spent tossing and turning were the forging fires of your character. What was delayed was not denied. I was protecting you from doors that looked incredibly good, but secretly led to your destruction. Do not despise the quiet, painful process that has made you so tired, because it is the exact same process that is making you unbreakable. You have survived 100% of your worst days because I was holding you when you thought you would break. The silence you have been standing in was not a void. It was a divine workspace. I have been working tirelessly behind the scenes, arranging the pieces of your life with perfect, meticulous care. The preparation is almost complete. Trust me in the quiet, because the answer you have been crying out for is already on its way. My child, I need you to recognize the true nature of the battle you are fighting right now. Your exhaustion is not merely physical, it is deeply spiritual. The enemy sees exactly how close you are to your promised breakthrough, and he is absolutely terrified of the divine purpose I have placed inside you. Because he has no power to stop what I have planned for your life, he is desperately trying to distract you. He is using your current weariness as a weapon, trying to convince you to surrender right at the edge of your victory. Do not believe his lies. When you are profoundly tired, your mind becomes a vulnerable battlefield. That is when the whispers of doubt and fear grow the loudest. The enemy tells you that you are permanently falling behind, that you have somehow missed your moment, and that your future will only be a painful repetition of your past. He uses your daily anxiety to paralyze you, and he uses your constant overthinking to drain the very last drop of your precious energy. But hear my ultimate truth today. Fear is not your future. The heavy confusion you feel is not from me. I do not author chaos. I author peace. I am exposing these spiritual attacks right now so that you can stop blaming yourself for feeling so incredibly heavy. You have been fighting unseen forces, wrestling with dark shadows of doubt that were specifically designed to make you throw your hands up and quit. But the enemy made one fatal miscalculation. He thought your intense exhaustion would completely break your faith, but he did not realize that your exhaustion is the very thing driving you back into my arms. What he meant to use to destroy you is actually pushing you deeper into my protective presence. You do not have to fight this spiritual war with your own depleted strength anymore. I am stepping onto the battlefield on your behalf today. The heavy, suffocating chains of anxiety that have been wrapped around your mind are breaking at this very moment. I am actively silencing the voices of inadequacy, shame, and hopelessness that have tormented you in the dark. When the enemy whispers that you are finished, I am declaring that a beautiful new season is just beginning. Stand firm, my beloved child. The spiritual warfare you have endured was fierce, but no force on earth or in hell can stop the massive shift that is about to happen in your life. My child, listen very closely to what I am declaring over your life in this exact moment. The long, heavy season of waiting that has drained your spirit is finally coming to an end. You have walked through the dark valley, you have endured the painful silence, and you have kept your fragile faith even when everything around you felt like it was completely crumbling. Now I want you to lift your heavy eyes. There is a massive, unprecedented shift happening in the spiritual realm concerning your future right now. The heavy doors that have been slammed shut in your face, the ones that caused you so much frustration, deep heartbreak, and silent tears, are about to swing wide open by my hand. I am actively making a way for you where human logic and circumstances say there is absolutely no way. You have looked at your current situation and seen only dead ends, brick walls, and impossible mountains to climb. But I am the God who turns dead ends into glorious new beginnings. Everything that the enemy tried to steal from you during this exhausting battle, your profound joy, your quiet peace, your precious time, your health, and your confidence, I am restoring it all back to you. The years that you thought were simply wasted in the waiting room were actually gathering divine interest in my kingdom. I saw every single tear you cried in secret when no one else was around to hold or comfort you. I caught every drop. They were never signs of your ultimate defeat. They were the precious seeds of your coming harvest. You have sown your desperate prayers in deep sorrow, and now, my beloved child, you are about to reap in unimaginable joy. I am lifting the thick, suffocating fog of confusion that has clouded your tired mind for so long. Divine clarity is coming. Supernatural provision is coming. The monumental breakthrough you have been desperately pleading for is no longer just a distant, fading hope. It is arriving right now. I am carefully aligning the exact right people, the perfect opportunities, and the divine moments specifically tailored for your life. You do not need to strive, manipulate, or force anything to happen anymore. Your season of fighting for pure survival is over. I simply need you to position your weary heart to receive. Open your tired, clenched hands. Let go of the incredibly tight grip of anxiety that has kept you bound in fear. You are standing on the very edge of your promised land. Do not let the lingering trauma of the wilderness convince you that you do not deserve the blessing that is coming. Take a deep, cleansing breath. Release the heavy pain, the bitter disappointments, and the harsh rejections of the past chapters. A brand new, beautiful season of unprecedented favor, profound healing, and perfect rest is beginning for you today. Believe my words, receive my immense love, and step boldly into the brilliant light of my unwavering promises. My child, exhaustion does more than just drain your physical body. It quietly tries to steal your true identity. When you are constantly running on empty, the enemy whispers the cruelest lies into your weary mind. He tells you that your worth is somehow tied to your productivity, that your value depends entirely on how much you can do for others, and that your past failures have permanently disqualified you from my grace. He has desperately tried to make you believe that you are a disappointment, that you are falling hopelessly behind in life, and that no matter how hard you try, you will never truly be enough. Today, I am pulling those toxic, heavy lies out of your heart by the very roots. I am stepping in to completely restore how you see yourself. Look at me, my child. Your identity is not found in your intense exhaustion. Your worth is not measured by the endless tasks you complete, the impossible battles you fight, or the unrealistic expectations you manage to meet. You are not defined by the dark season of struggle you are currently walking through, and you are certainly not defined by the mistakes you made when you were simply trying to survive. You are my beautiful masterpiece. Long before you ever achieved anything, long before you ever tried to be strong for everyone else, I looked at you and called you completely and perfectly loved. The heavy shame you have been carrying around, the deep secret feeling that you are somehow flawed or broken beyond repair, does not belong to you anymore. I am taking it from your shoulders right now. I see how incredibly hard you are on yourself. I see how you constantly replay your past in the middle of the night, agonizing over situations you cannot change, wishing you had been better, stronger, or wiser. I need you to stop punishing yourself for not being perfect. I never asked you for perfection. I only ever asked for your honest heart. When you stumble under the crushing weight of life, I do not stand over you with a heavy hand of angry judgment. I kneel right beside you with open, bleeding arms of immense grace. You do not have to perform to earn my love. You do not have to exhaust your mind and body trying to prove that you deserve to be in my presence. I am restoring your royal crown today. I am reminding your tired spirit of who you truly are. You are chosen, you are fully forgiven, you are incredibly valuable, and you are profoundly held. Let go of the desperate need to validate your existence through endless, exhausting striving. Breathe in my unconditional love. When you finally realize that you are already entirely accepted by the Creator of the universe, the heavy burden of trying to impress the world simply melts away. You are my beloved child, and in you I am so deeply well pleased. My child, this next step requires the greatest courage of all. I am asking you to do the one thing that feels the most incredibly difficult for you right now. I am asking you to finally let go. You have been clenching your fists for far too long. You have tried to frantically control every single detail, manage every outcome, and fix every broken situation because you are absolutely terrified that if you relax your grip for even 1 second, everything will completely fall apart. You have convinced yourself that safety is found in your ability to predict and hold on to the future. But the truth is that incredibly tight grip is the very thing that is draining the life out of you every single day. The control you are desperately holding on to is not bringing you safety. It is only bringing you relentless, crushing exhaustion. I know exactly why you are so afraid to let go. In the past, when you trusted, you were deeply hurt. When you let your guard down, things did not go the way you carefully planned. Your profound disappointment taught you to build massive walls of protection, to do everything yourself, and to never fully lean on anyone else again. But my child, I am not like the fragile world that broke your trust. I am not a human being who will break a promise or abandon you halfway through the storm. When I ask you to let go, it is not so that everything will shatter and fall. It is so that I can finally step in and catch it for you. I see the immense tension carried in your tired shoulders. I feel the heavy, suffocating weight in your chest when the sun goes down and thousands of anxious thoughts violently flood your mind. It is time to set that heavy burden down. You cannot possibly receive my brand new blessings with hands that are tightly gripping old anxieties. Open your tired hands right now in this exact moment. Surrender the complex plans you have been striving to carry. Surrender the strained relationships that cause you endless headaches. Hand over your financial future, your physical health, and the people you love so deeply. You have done your absolute best, and what you could do is enough. Now it is time to let me do my part, the part of the Creator who can easily move the massive mountains that human strength cannot even shake. Surrender is never a sign of weakness or defeat. It is the highest, most powerful expression of pure faith. When you finally exhale and say, "Lord, I cannot do this by myself anymore. Please take over." That is the exact moment your severe exhaustion ends and my supernatural power begins. Let me be your God today. The second you let go, you will watch the heavy doors you have been bleeding to open swing wide on their own. I am covering you right now with a profound, deep peace that completely surpasses all human understanding. A gentle melody of holy rest will replace the loud, chaotic noise of anxiety in your weary mind. Close your tired eyes and truly rest, my beloved, because absolutely everything concerning your life is safely held in my hands. My child, now that you have finally opened your hands and let go of the heavy burdens you were never meant to carry, I can begin the beautiful work of filling you back up. When you surrender your desperate need for control, you create the sacred space necessary for my guide spirit to move powerfully in your life. I know you feel completely depleted, as if you have absolutely nothing left to give to yourself, to your loved ones, or even to me. But listen to my voice. Your emptiness is not a liability. It is the perfect waiting vessel for my divine power. Right now, in this very quiet moment, I am breathing fresh, supernatural life into your weary bones. I am pouring a new, unbreakable strength into your tired spirit, a strength that does not rely on your own fragile physical energy or your exhausted mental endurance. You have spent so many long years just trying to survive the raging storms, furiously paddling just to keep your head barely above the dark water. But I did not create you simply to survive, my beloved. I created you to thrive, to rise above the crushing waves, and to walk boldly on the very waters that once threatened to completely drown you. The intense exhaustion that defined your yesterday will not dictate your tomorrow. Very soon, you will begin to feel a strange, beautiful lightness in your chest. That is the heavy, suffocating spirit of anxiety finally leaving your body, being completely replaced by my unshakable, perfect peace. The intense mental fog that made every single decision feel like a massive, exhausting mountain to climb is clearing away right now. I am giving you divine clarity, sharp focus, and a renewed sense of brilliant purpose. Do not look back with deep regret at the time you feel was completely wasted in your long season of dark waiting. The enemy desperately wants you to mourn the months or years you spent crying, struggling, and feeling hopelessly stuck, hoping to trap you in a heavy cage of bitterness and regret. But I am the God who completely redeems time. I am going to restore the years that the locusts have eaten. The painful delays you patiently endured are being miraculously translated into unprecedented acceleration. What takes others a lifetime to painfully build, I will establish for you in a fraction of the time, because my extraordinary favor is resting heavily upon your life. You are stepping into a beautiful season of rapid, miraculous restoration. Lift your weary head, dry your tired eyes, and prepare your open heart to receive. The hardest part of your painful journey is officially over, and the glorious dawn you have been desperately praying for is finally breaking through the darkest night. My child, as I infuse you with my supernatural strength, I am also establishing an unbreakable divine shield around your life. For a very long time, you have felt completely unprotected, as if you were standing entirely bare in the middle of a brutal, unending battlefield. You have felt the toxic arrows of malicious betrayal, unfair judgment, and cruel rejection piercing deeply into your fragile heart. But hear my sovereign decree today. I am your fortress, and I am your ultimate defender. No weapon formed against you shall prosper anymore. Every loud voice that has risen against you in harsh judgment, I am completely silencing. At this very moment, you do not need to exhaust your mind trying to defend yourself against the lies of the world, because my truth has already totally vindicated you. I need you to understand that the heavy exhaustion you have been carrying is not just from your current problems. It is a weight that has been passed down through generations. I see the painful patterns in your family line, the endless cycles of constant financial lack, severe emotional trauma, deep anxiety, and broken relationships. You have been quietly carrying the heavy, unsaid burdens of those who came before you, fighting ancestral battles that you did not start. But hear me clearly, the cycle stops with you. I have chosen you to be the powerful circuit breaker in your family. The exhausting generational chains that held your parents and grandparents bound are shattering into pieces right now by the authority of my name. You are not cursed, you are profoundly blessed. The heavy, dark atmosphere of oppression that has hovered over your household for years is lifting, being permanently replaced by the radiant light of my glory. I am rewriting your family story, and the future chapters will be filled with unprecedented peace, abundance, and genuine joy. Do not let the familiar spirit of fear convince you that things will inevitably get worse again. I am locking the doors to your painful past, and I am guaranteeing the safety of your beautiful future. Walk forward with your head held high, my beloved child. You are completely covered by my grace, heavily guarded by my holy angels, and entirely set free from every heavy burden that once tried to destroy your destiny. My child, now that the heavy burdens of your painful past and the invisible chains of generational trauma have been completely broken, I want you to take your very first steps into a beautiful, brand new dawn. For such an incredibly long time, you have been deeply conditioned to run at a frantic, exhausting pace. You have been harshly molded by a ruthless, demanding world, a world that violently whispers into your ears every single day that you must constantly vat kiet sukluk, that you must burn yourself out just to prove you are worthy of success, love, and basic peace. You have become so desperately used to gongmin, to constantly defending yourself, and to fiercely fighting entirely alone for every single ounce of small happiness. But today I am gently inviting you to step into the supernatural rhythm of my grace, a rhythm that contains absolutely no striving, no forced pressure, and completely zero exhaustion. This beautiful new season is entirely unlike anything you have ever experienced in your past chapters. You will not have to bleed your hands to forcefully open doors anymore. The exact doors that I have personally destined for your future will automatically swing wide open the very moment you arrive. The profound blessings that I have carefully prepared for you since the beginning of time will effortlessly flow into your life, just as a powerful river is guaranteed to find its way to the deep ocean. You will never have to fight or carry heavy stress to maintain your mental serenity, because my perfect, supernatural peace will automatically guard and encircle your mind and your heart every single day. I know that there will be quiet moments when the enemy desperately tries to drag you back into your old, familiar patterns of anxiety. When your life finally begins to feel beautifully light and peaceful, he will maliciously whisper that if you are not worried, it means you are losing your guard. He will try to convince you that your sacred rest is actually laziness and that disaster is secretly lurking just around the corner. Do not believe those toxic, heavy lies for a single second. I need you to understand a profound spiritual truth. Your absolute rest in me is your most powerful and sharpest spiritual weapon. When you choose to smile and rest instead of panicking and overthinking, you are boldly declaring to the dark world and every force of hell that the creator of the universe is awake, actively fighting the battle on your behalf. Look at the road ahead of you, not through the tired, deeply wounded eyes of your yesterday, but through the brilliant, radiant lens of fresh hope. I have completely healed your Ra-Roy legs. I have gently soothed your deeply scratched heart. You are no longer an exhausted, forgotten traveler, wandering aimlessly through a dry, barren desert. You are an incredibly valuable, unconditionally loved child of the King, walking boldly in the magnificent light of my kingdom. Take a deep, cleansing breath right now. The atmosphere of this new season is perfectly fresh, crisp, and overflowing with supernatural life. Let me gently hold your hand and guide your every single step from this moment forward. You will truly realize that my yoke is completely easy and my burden is wonderfully light. Your tired heart does not need to search anymore, because finally your weary soul has truly come home. My child, as you take your very first steps into this radiant season of grace, I want to permanently engrave an eternal promise deep into your heart. From this exact moment forward, you will never ever have to blindly stumble around in the dark or frantically carry the crushing weight of isolated decisions all by yourself again. The immense fear that once held you heavily imprisoned, the fear of making the wrong choice, stepping off the right path, or completely losing your destined opportunity, has been totally uprooted by my hand today. I am actively establishing a brand new, perfectly clear, and continuous divine guidance over your life. The severe exhaustion of your past chapters, deeply rooted from your constant, frantic attempt to forcefully control the future before it ever actually happened. You have completely vatkiet your mind to carefully plan for the years ahead, violently stressing yourself out to calculate every single disaster that could potentially strike. But today, I am strictly asking you to set the heavy burden of tomorrow entirely down. I only ask you to simply walk with me one single day at a time. My grace, my supernatural provision, and my strength for your life are completely fresh and brand new every single morning. You do not need to possess tomorrow's strength to survive today. When tomorrow arrives, my new strength will already be standing there, waiting to hold you. When you stand before the major, complex crossroads of your life, you will no longer feel the suffocating panic, confusion, or betac as you did before. Instead of overwhelming panic, you will clearly hear a gentle, yet completely authoritative voice echoing from the very depths of your soul. This is the correct path. Walk boldly on it. My divine guidance will never carry forced pressure or heavy manipulation. It will arrive like a wave of perfect peace, a quiet, unshakable certainty that completely surpasses all human logic. I am opening up deep understanding for your mind and brilliantly illuminating your every single step, ensuring that you will never stumble or fall. I know that sometimes the heavy memories of pure loneliness and severe weariness will desperately try to return and haunt your mind. There will be days when the surrounding world feels loud, chaotic, and ruthless once again. When those fragile moments arrive, do not ever turn back to your old, toxic habit of going in to fight alone. Instantly run back into the quiet, sacred sanctuary inside your heart where I permanently dwell. The second you softly call my name, I will immediately cover and encircle you with my absolute, perfect presence of peace. Today, I am sealing my eternal love and divine protection over your entire life. Your Moimet past has officially and permanently receded into the shadows. Lift your head high, my priceless child, because the most glorious, brilliant chapter of your story has only just begun. My child, as you walk securely in the beautiful new rhythm of grace, I am doing something profoundly miraculous with the broken pieces of your past. I am fully restoring your divine purpose. For such an incredibly long time, your only goal was simply to survive the day, to make it through the dark, lonely night without completely giving up. Survival consumed all of your precious energy. But today, I am gently lifting your tired eyes from the dusty ground to the glorious horizon. You were not created just to endure endless pain and constant disappointment. You were created to be a powerful, radiant beacon of my blazing light in a very dark and desperate world. I want you to look closely at the deep, invisible scars you carry. The enemy desperately hoped those painful wounds would permanently disqualify you. He wanted them to make you feel too dirty, too broken, and too heavily damaged to ever be used for anything great. But I am the master builder, and I am actively turning your deepest pain into your greatest, most undeniable testimony. The very areas where you experience the most severe heartbreak, the most profound betrayal, and the most exhausting struggles will become the exact areas where you carry the most extraordinary spiritual authority. Because you intimately know what it feels like to be hopelessly trapped in the dark, you will know exactly how to lead others into the light. Your quiet survival story is about to become a powerful lifeline for someone else who is silently drowning. But before I ask you to pour out your wisdom, I want you to simply bask in the warm, comforting glow of my healing presence. I am gifting you a beautiful season of pure, uninterrupted joy to rebuild your own personal strength. I am restoring your lost passions, those beautiful, quiet dreams you sadly tucked away in a hidden drawer because you were simply too tired to pursue them. The heavy, suffocating blanket of apathy and emotional numbness is being pulled off of your spirit right now. I am thoroughly awakening your tired soul. I am putting a fresh, joyful song in your mouth and a renewed, unshakable fire deep inside your weary bones. Do not be afraid to safely hope again. Do not be terrified to dream bigger than you ever have before. The devastating, chaotic storms have officially passed, and the soil of your life is now incredibly fertile and rich. It is time to boldly plant new seeds, my beloved child. It is time to step confidently into the magnificent, purposeful destiny that I carefully wrote for you before you ever took your very first breath. You are no longer a fragile victim of your exhausting circumstances. You are a victorious, radiant reflection of my infinite, unfailing glory. My child, as you fully embrace the beautiful purpose I have restored within you, I want to speak to you about the profound, overwhelming joy that is about to flood every corner of your life. For such an incredibly long time, you have only known the heavy, suffocating language of grief, survival, and endless mourning. You have become so desperately accustomed to expecting the worst, constantly waiting for the next disaster to strike, that the very idea of experiencing genuine, lasting happiness actually terrifies you. But hear my sovereign voice today. It is absolutely safe for you to rejoice again. The harsh, bitter winter of your soul has officially ended, and the radiant, blossoming spring has finally arrived. I am taking the heavy, dark ashes of your painful past and miraculously exchanging them for a majestic crown of divine beauty. The countless tears you cried in the midnight hours, the ones you thought were completely ignored and wasted, were actually watering the incredibly fertile soil of your imminent breakthrough. You have sowed your prayers in deep, agonizing sorrow, but now you are about to reap a massive, unprecedented harvest of unshakable joy. This is not a fragile, temporary happiness that nervously depends on perfectly aligned human circumstances. This is a deep, supernatural joy that the dark world cannot ever touch, understand, or steal away from you. I need you to boldly step out of the heavy shadows of your past trauma and walk fully into the brilliant sunlight of fearless faith. When incredible, mind-blowing new blessings begin to rapidly pour into your life, do not let the familiar spirit of self-sabotage whisper that it is simply too good to be true. Do not frantically look for hidden traps in the middle of my perfect miracles. You have patiently paid the price in the waiting room. You have successfully passed the severe, testing fires of the wilderness. Now it is your rightful time to effortlessly enjoy the sweet milk and honey of your promised land. You do not have to apologize for the extreme favor I'm placing on your life. Lift your tired hands right now and permanently release the very last remaining traces of your lingering doubt. I have firmly secured your foundation. I have fiercely guarded your mind. I am walking directly ahead of you to easily level the massive mountains and completely shatter the heavy gates of bronze that once stood in your way. You are stepping into a magnificent, unstoppable season of relentless triumph. Smile, my beloved child. Breathe in the pure, refreshing air of your absolute freedom. The long, agonizing night of weeping is entirely over, and your glorious, majestic morning has finally come. My child, as you stand fully in the radiant, healing light of this glorious new morning, I want to establish an unbreakable covenant of peace with you. The fragile survival mindset that kept you desperately holding on day by day is now completely a thing of the past. Today, I am officially upgrading your spiritual posture from a weary, exhausted survivor to a powerful, victorious conqueror. You are no longer just trying to barely make it through the week. You are stepping confidently into a profound, unprecedented realm of divine authority. I have permanently removed the heavy chains of your past and placed a royal mantle upon your shoulders, equipping you with heavenly armor that absolutely no earthly weapon can ever pierce. I need you to truly realize the immense supernatural power that now resides deep within your restored soul. Because you chose to trust me in the pitch dark, because you held tightly onto my promises, even when your human strength was completely failing, I am entrusting you with a beautiful new level of spiritual influence. The heavy, anxious atmosphere of a room will literally shift when you walk into it, simply because you carry my glorious, unbreakable presence. The words you speak will no longer be laced with heavy anxiety, lingering trauma, or bitter defeat. They will be powerful, resounding declarations of abundant life, profound healing, and unstoppable hope. People will look at your life and visibly see the undeniable, miraculous turnaround that only the Creator of the universe could orchestrate. When the old familiar shadows of doubt try to creep back into your mind, and they will occasionally try to test your boundaries, you will not cower, hide, or shrink back in fear ever again. You will stand incredibly tall. You will simply smile at the approaching storm, knowing absolutely well who is firmly anchoring your ship. I have permanently removed the fragile, fearful heart of an orphan and given you the bold, courageous heart of a true royal heir. You belong entirely to me, and absolutely everything that I have in my kingdom is now fully accessible to you. Do not ever shrink yourself down to fit into the small, limited expectations of this broken, chaotic world. Expand your vision. Stretch out your faith. You are walking securely under the protective, eternal shadow of the Almighty, and your beautiful future is permanently locked in my sovereign hands. My beloved child, as our sacred time together in this specific moment comes to a gentle close, I want you to carry this profound truth deep within your soul. You are officially crossing the threshold from severe exhaustion into everlasting endurance. The heavy, suffocating weight you carried into this video is not the exact same weight you will carry out. I have permanently taken it from you. You arrived here completely depleted, running on empty, and desperately searching for a tiny sliver of hope. But you are leaving here completely filled, divinely empowered, and firmly anchored in my unbreakable promises. Remember that you did not find this message by accident. Heaven carefully orchestrated this exact encounter because I fiercely love you, and I simply could not let you fight another day believing that you were entirely alone. If your tired heart has felt the undeniable comfort of my Holy Spirit today, I gently invite you to seal this beautiful moment. Type Amen, or I receive my rest, Lord, in the comments below as a powerful, physical declaration of your newly restored faith. Let your simple words be an unbreakable contract with heaven, that you are officially leaving your crushing exhaustion behind. If you know another soul who is silently drowning in their own exhaustion, someone who is desperately trying to hold it all together while quietly falling apart, share this exact message with them. Be the divine vessel that carries my healing light into their dark room. By helping to lift their heavy burden, you beautifully multiply the miraculous blessing that I am actively pouring out upon you today. Now receive my final sovereign blessing over your life. May the Lord bless you and fiercely protect you. May the Lord make his glorious face shine radiantly upon you and be incredibly gracious to you. May the Lord turn his loving face toward you and give you his perfect, unshakable peace. As you close your eyes tonight, you will not be tormented by the anxious ghosts of your past or the heavy fears of your tomorrow. You will sleep the deep, restorative sleep of the profoundly loved. Walk forward in brilliant victory, my beautiful child. The exhausting battle is completely over. The dark night has entirely passed, and your majestic morning is finally here. I love you with an everlasting love, today, tomorrow, and for all of eternity.